Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 7 o'clock main news. In tonight's headlines, His Highness the Emir receives the visiting Prime Minister of Egypt and his accompanying delegation on the occasion of his official visit to the country. The National Assembly Bureau convened in a regular session to discuss letters related to the exchange of visits with other parliaments. The first Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister leaves for Senegal at the beginning of an African and European tour. And the shooting of a 19-year-old boy leads to confrontations between Israeli forces and Palestinians. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received at Bayan Palace today His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah. His Highness the Emir also received His Excellency the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem. His Highness the Emir then received His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received at Bayan Palace today the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem and Chairman of the Committee of Drafting Reply to the Emiri Speech, Dr. Abdullah Muhammad Al Treji, and the committee members Mahmoud Muhammad Al Hamdan and Abdul Hamid Abbas Deshti. They presented His Highness with the report drafted by the committee as a reply to the Emiri Speech in the third session of the 40th legislative term. His Highness provided them with his directives and called for greater efforts to fulfill the aspirations of the citizens so as to foster the development in the country through joint cooperation between the legislative and executive authorities and in the manner that serves the country's best interests. His Excellency the National Assembly Speaker said they will be true to His Highness's expectations through serious and ongoing work to fulfill His Highness's wishes and to serve the best interests of the country and the citizens. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received today at Bayan Palace with the attendance of His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah and His Highness the Prime Minister Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the visiting Egyptian Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahlab and his accompanying delegation. The meeting tackled bilateral relations between the two countries in addition to the issues of common interest and the latest developments on the regional and international levels. The meeting was also attended by the Deputy Prime Minister and Interior Minister Sheikh Mohammed Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Deputy Minister of Emiri Diwan Affairs Sheikh Ali Jarrah Al Sabah, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defence Sheikh Khalid Jarrah Al Sabah, the Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Mbarak Al Sabah, and the Chairman of the accompanying Mission of Honour and Advisor at His Highness the Premier's Diwan Sheikh Dr. Salim Jaber Al Ahmed Al Sabah. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent cables of condolences to Their Excellencies German President Joachim Gauck and German Chancellor Angela Merkel on the demise of former German President Richard von Weizsäcker. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent cables of condolences to Their Excellencies German President Joachim Gauck and German Chancellor Angela Merkel on the demise of former German President Richard von Weizsäcker. His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister, also sent similar cables of condolences. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency Sergio Mattarella, the new President of the Republic of Italy, on the assumption of his new post. His Highness the Emir expressed best wishes for the newly elected President and his nation, hoping to achieve further development in the Kuwaiti-Italian bilateral relations. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency Sergio Mattarella, the new President of the Republic of Italy, for the assumption of his new post. His Highness the Prime Minister Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah sent a similar cable. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received this morning at Bayan Palace the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem, Chairman of the Parliamentary Emiri Speech Committee MP Abdullah Muhammad Al Treji, and members of the committee MPs Ahmoud Al Hamdan and Abdul Hamid Dashti. The MPs presented His Highness the Crown Prince with a report that was prepared by the committee of the 3rd Ordinary Session of the 14th Legislative Term. His Highness the Crown Prince also received His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister. His Highness the Crown Prince then received the Deputy Prime Minister and Interior Minister Sheikh Mohammed Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah. Later on, His Highness the Crown Prince received the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defence Sheikh Khalid Al Jarrah Al Sabah, the Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Mbarak Al Sabah. His Highness the Crown Prince then received the Minister of Finance Anas Saleh. His Highness the Crown Prince also received the Minister of Information and Minister of State for Youth Affairs Sheikh Salman Sabah Salim Lahmoud Sabah. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah will patronise tomorrow the opening of the 2nd Engineering Initiative Forum, which is organised by Kuwait Engineer Society. His Highness deputised the Minister of Electricity and Water and Minister of Public Works Abdulaziz Ibrahim to attend the opening ceremony, which will be held at 10 a.m. tomorrow Monday at the Kuwait National Library. The National Assembly Bureau met today under the chairmanship of the House Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem. Speaking after the meeting, the House Secretary Adil Al Khrafi said in a press release that the House Bureau discussed in its meeting today a number of letters regarding the exchange of visits with a number of other parliaments, as well as some issues related to the General Secretariat. National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem received at his office today the Prime Minister of the Arab Republic of Egypt Ibrahim Mahlab and his accompanying delegation on the occasion of his visit to the country. The two sides emphasised during the meeting the strength of the historic relations between the two countries and their brotherly peoples, and called for expanding cooperation between the two countries in addition to the latest developments on the regional and international arenas. They also elaborated on the importance of confronting the existing challenges which face the whole region and agreed to unify their efforts to fight terrorism. Speaker Al Ghanem pledged the support of Kuwait Parliament and people for the Arab Republic of Egypt in order to consolidate its security and stability. The meeting was attended by the National Assembly Secretary MP Adil Al Khrafi, the House Observer MP Ahmed Lari, Chairman of the Committee of Budgets and Closing Accounts MP Adnan Abdul Samad, Chairman of the Committee of Financial and Economic Affairs MP Faisal Al Shaya, Chairman of the Priorities Identification MP Dr. Yusuf Nzazala, and the House members Faisal Dwaysan, Mohammed Tana, Madi Al Hajri, Khalil Al Saleh, Saadou Al Hamad, and Kuwait's Ambassador in Cairo, Salim Al Zamanan. The Egyptian delegation accompanying Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahlab comprised of the Governor of the Central Bank of Egypt, Hisham Ramiz, Minister of Oil and Mineral Resources, Sharif Mohammed, Minister of Housing, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Investment, Ashraf Salman, and Egypt's Ambassador to the State of Kuwait, Abdul Karim Sleiman. His Highness the Prime Minister Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah held today official talks with the visiting Egyptian Prime Minister, His Excellency Ibrahim Mahlab, at Bayan Palace. The talks were conducted in a friendly atmosphere that reflected the depth of the historical and close relations between both countries, as well as mutual willingness to further promote and boost bilateral cooperation to cover various fields that serve people-to-people interests and match the size of brotherly and firm bonds. The talks also expressed the willingness of Kuwait and Egypt to exert more efforts that help support relations among all Arab countries and to achieve solidarity in the face of terrorism, with a view to maintaining security and stability and providing decent living conditions to Arab people. The talks were attended on the Kuwaiti side by the Minister of Finance, Anas Saleh, the Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs, Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Mbarak al-Subah, the Minister of Oil and Minister of State for National Assembly Affairs, Saleh al-Amir, the Minister of State for Housing Affairs, Yasser Abul, and several other state officials. The Egyptian delegation was attended by the delegation accompanying the visiting Egyptian Prime Minister. His Highness the Prime Minister then held a luncheon banquet in honour of the Egyptian Prime Minister and his accompanying delegation. His Excellency Prime Minister of the Arab Republic of Egypt, Engineer Ibrahim Mahlab, and his accompanying delegation arrived in Kuwait on a 3-day official visit at the invitation of His Highness Sheikh Jabir al-Mbarak al-Hamad al-Subah, the Prime Minister. He was received at the airport by His Highness the Prime Minister and His Excellency the Deputy Premier, Minister of Interior, Sheikh Mohammed al-Khalid al-Hamad al-Subah, His Excellency the Deputy Premier and Minister of Defence, Lieutenant General Sheikh Khalid al-Jarrah al-Subah, His Excellency the Head of the Mission of Honour, Advisor at His Highness the Prime Minister's Diwan, Sheikh Dr. Salim Jabir al-Ahmad al-Subah, a number of sheikhs, cabinet members, senior army, police and National Guard officers, senior government officials in the Diwan of His Highness the Prime Minister, the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Ambassador of Somalia Abdul Qadir Amin, Sheikh, and ambassadors of the two countries. The First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, left Kuwait today to the Republic of Senegal at the outset of a tour that will take him also to the Kingdom of Morocco, the Kingdom of Spain and the Federal Republic of Germany. Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid will preside in Senegal over Kuwait's delegation to the meeting of the Higher Joint Committee for Cooperation between the two countries. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister will then proceed to Rabat to chair Kuwait's delegation at the 8th meeting of the Joint Kuwaiti-Moroccan Committee, which will discuss the distinct relations between the two countries and prospects of enhancing their cooperation. Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid will then pay an official visit to the Kingdom of Spain to mark the 50th anniversary of the Kuwaiti-Spanish diplomatic relations and to discuss with Spanish officials ways of boosting cooperation and coordination between the two countries in various domains. His talks in Madrid will also cover the latest regional and international developments as well as other issues of mutual interest. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister will conclude his tour with a visit to the city of Munich, where he will head Kuwait's delegation to the 51st Conference of Security, due to open on the 6th of February. The conference will discuss the challenges to international security and their impact on the entire world and will be attended by a number of heads of state and ministers of foreign affairs and ministers of defense, as well as security experts. Israeli forces shot dead a 19-year-old boy, Ahmed al-Najjar, Saturday evening while he was near a bypass road between his village Burin near Nablus, claiming he was attacking a military vehicle. More on the following report by Fatma Abdul Karim from Ramallah.
Ahmed Ibrahim al-Najjar, 19 years old, fell martyr by Israeli gunfire near his hometown Burin in the governorate of Nablus last night. Al-Najjar was near a bypass road built between Burin and the illegal Gil'ad settlement built on Palestinian lands between Burin, Madama and Asira, located southwest of Nablus. Israeli occupation forces claimed the martyr was throwing Molotov cocktails at military vehicles near the settlement. Youth clashed with the army soldiers in the wake of the incident, and in response, Israeli forces imposed closure on the area.
He's 19 years old. What could he have done? He was coming back from work. I was waiting for him at home when I was told he fell martyr.
Eyewitnesses said Israeli soldiers opened fire on two youngsters, killing Ahmed and leaving his companion injured. They left them bleeding, and the Red Hilal ambulances said they were banned from approaching them. They confirmed they were shot with live bullets. The residents of the area have suffered for long, not only from the illegal overtaking of the lands, but also the behavior of settlers and the cover provided to them by military forces.
This highlights how this occupation has opened the door for settlers in this area, out of which 70% was engulfed by settlements, and where we find the extremists of settlers.
Recent reports from both Palestinian and Israeli rights organizations indicate a significant rise in settler violence that could be addressed as war crimes. The continued confrontations between Palestinians and settlers are mainly due to provocations by settlers who are mostly armed and aggressive. Hence, Palestinians believe the only means to put an end to this behavior is through the International Tribunal. Fatma Abdul Karim, Kuwait TV, Ramallah, Palestine.
The Japanese Deputy Foreign Minister expressed sorrow over the fate of Japanese hostages held by the so-called Islamic State today in the Jordanian capital Amman. The Deputy Foreign Minister also expressed Japan's thanks to the Jordanian King and related officials in providing support and cooperation in rescuing Japanese hostages. The IS group released a video on January 20th asking for a ransom of $200 million for two Japanese men they captured, Haruna Yukawa and Kenji Goto. The IS group released another video on January 24th that Haruna Yukawa was killed. The IS later demanded that it would release the Japanese hostage Kenji Goto in exchange for a suicide bomber being held in Amman by sunset on Thursday. However, Japan said the collective efforts by Japan and Jordan to save the captured Japanese journalist and the Jordanian pilot, who was also captured by the IS in December of 2014, are deadlocked. Members of the Gulf University of Science and Technology, or GUS Public Relations Club, succeeded in collecting 56.9 tons of clothes within 24 hours, breaking the Guinness World Record yesterday. The campaign to collect clothes aimed at breaking the world record that stood at 29 tons, registered by the Guinness World Records. The clothes will be donated to people in need in Kuwait, Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan and Yemen. Here is more on the event in this report by Salim Al-Kindari.
Gulf University for Science and Technology students in Kuwait yesterday shattered a world record held by Qatar by collecting and packing 56.9 tons of clothes for charity. The event took place over 24 hours, starting at 5 p.m. on Friday and ended at 5 p.m. the next day on Saturday, in order to break the record, but yet the public continued to bring in more clothes even after the closing seconds.
This event is an event that's hosted by GUST with the PR Club to break a new Guinness Book of World Records for collecting the most used clothes to help people who are underprivileged in different countries in the region. The target is 30 tons, and my understanding is that we surpassed that number, so we're very happy. But the collection will continue till we collect everything from every car that's coming to us.
As you can see, since yesterday, because the event started yesterday at 5 p.m. on 30 January and will end today on 31st of January at 5 p.m. Exactly 24 hours cycle. A lot of youth, actually only the youth of Kuwait, they have spent that many efforts in order to weigh the clothes, in order to assemble them, because only clothes are allowed to use for this record attempt. They sorted out like belts, shoes, bags, because they are not going to be used for the record, so as we said, only clothes. And of course, their aim is to break the current record holder, which is Qatar, since 2014, with 29,656 kilograms.
Basically, this event started out in a meeting. Public Relations Club has a meeting, and we thought about why not trying to break the record by using charity, you know, like a modern twist to charity, which the youth can contribute in it. And this is exactly what happened. And as you can see behind us, it's amazing. The people, everyone is helping, and the whole campaign is about charity and also to break the record that Qatar has at Guinness.
The event was overseen by students who work continuously as part of supporting various humanitarian initiatives. The efforts were made by all youths from various clubs, universities and associations. The clothes will be distributed in Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, Jordan, Palestine and Kuwait. Supervised by Guinness World Record, the Public Relations Club here at GUST University had organized this event in collecting as much as they could and as many tons as possible of clothes for the donation of Syrian people that are scattered all over the region. From GUST University, this is Salim Al-Kindari reporting for the English News.
The Kuwait Stock Exchange indices rose upon the close of today's session, with the price index gaining 64.4 points, reaching the level of 6,636 points. The weighted index rose 3.51 points and the KSX 15 index 10.9 points. The number of trades amounted to 5,594 transactions worth 23 million Kuwaiti dinars, with 238 million shares changing hands. For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. And to recap tonight's news, here are the headlines once again. His Highness the Emir receives the visiting Prime Minister of Egypt and his accompanying delegation on the occasion of his official visit to the country. The National Assembly Bureau convened in a regular session to discuss letters related to the exchange of visits with other parliaments. The first Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister leaves for Senegal at the beginning of an African and European tour. And the shooting of a 19-year-old boy leads to confrontations between Israeli forces and Palestinians. Thank you for joining us. Have a good evening.